Good morning, children. Today I will explain another topic in the management of natural resources, that is the conservation of wildlife. In the previous class I explained you about the conservation of forest, and one thing I want to tell you that if we are conserving the forest means we are conserving the wildlife also. So actually what is the need for the conservation of wildlife? Because we all know that large scale killing of these wild animals, they are destroying the ecosystem in our nature. So what will happen if we are destroying the forest, if we are destroying the wildlife? So if we are destroying the forest means it will be threat to the survival of many animals. You all know that forest is the habitat of the wild animals, and if we are destroying the forest means we are also killing the wild animals, so which can disturb the ecosystem. Here I want to give you one example that people kill the snakes. Why they kill the snakes? Because they get skin from the snakes, and this skin of the snakes is used for making many leather goods. So that's why for their benefit, for their profit, the people try to kill the snakes. And if they kill the snakes, means the food chain in the ecosystem is disturbed, and there will be imbalance in the nature. And what will happen if we kill the snakes more and more? Then what the population of the snake will get reduced. And you all know that snakes kill the rats and mice in the fields. And if the rats and mice will increase, it will damage the crops which are in the field, and which can lead to the reduction of the food production. Means the food production in the field will get reduced. So what will happen? So conservation of wildlife is very important. So here you can understand how if we are destroying the one chain or the one level of the ecosystem means we are destroying the whole food chain. So that's why it is very necessary to conserve the wild animals as well as to conserve the forest. And first main important thing is that to maintain the ecological balance. If we conserve the wildlife, if we conserve the forest means we are maintaining the ecological balance, and we are also preserving the gene pool. So these two most important thing, that's why it is necessary for the conservation of forest as well as wildlife. Now there are some methods to conserve the wildlife. Here I want to discuss one by one all the methods. How can we conserve the wildlife? In the wildlife, the bird, not only the animals, wild animals, but also the birds and other insects, they all live in the forest. So it is necessary to conserve the wildlife. Means first method is that there should be a law means law should be made by the government for the ban of killing of wild animals. And if any person is killing the wild animals means he should be punished by the government, then only the wildlife can be conserved. And here the same thing I want to tell you, indiscriminate killing of the wild animals should be avoided. Next important thing is that we have to, if we want, because nowadays what we are looking at, that the number of species of the wild animals, especially tiger and other animals, they are getting, means their number is getting low and low day by day. So for them we have to establish national parks and wildlife sanctuaries to protect these animals from extinction. Some animals, wild animals, have already become extinct. So to protect them from extinction, we have to establish national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Because there are some animals now also which are endangered. Endangered means which are in a state of extinction, which can extinct any within 1 year or 2 years maybe. So for them at least we should protect these animals which are present at present by establishing national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Next one is that periodic survey of the forest should be done by the forest department so that they can count the number of different trees in the forest as well as the number of wild animals which are present in the forest. And as I already told you, conservation of endangered species should be done which are in a state of extinction. and unauthorized felling of forest trees should be stopped. Means some people, they now also they cut the trees unnecessary without the permission of the government. So these unauthorized felling of the trees should be stopped. And if the forest government is allowing anybody to cut the trees, then in place of that trees, new plants, new trees should be cultivated or should be planted. Now we come to so in this way, these are the few methods by which we can conserve the forest as well as the wildlife, because if we are conserving the forest means we are ultimately conserving the wild animals and birds. Now you all know about the conservation of water. So before studying the conservation of water, you all know that water is very important for all of us. And there are different sources of water. The main source of water is the rain. Beside these lakes, rivers, ponds, springs, seas and all. So management of these water resources is very important, because so that all people in the country should get, there is an equal distribution of water in all parts of India. And for that, there are many ways also to conserve the water that I will discuss. Only one thing I will discuss today, and the other points I will discuss tomorrow. And that is the construction of the dams. Dam is very important to conserve the water, because overflowing of the water, if we want to conserve, then we should construct the dams, and dams store the water, and this water which is stored in the dams can be utilized for many purposes. It can be supplied to the homes, it can be supplied to the fields for irrigation, and it can also be used for generating electricity, and so many other purpose we can utilize the water which is stored in the dams. But there are some problems also created due to the construction of the high-rise dams, and that is the social problems, environmental problems as well as the economic problem. So these problems which are created by the construction of the dam we will discuss in the tomorrow section, how the problems are created for the construction of the high-rise dams. Thanks.